What's up, everyone? I guess the balloons are just going to be here for my peace sign fingers. Maybe I can figure out how to turn that off. Today, we're going to talk briefly about a case study that just came out pretty recently in North Carolina from the North Carolina Medical Board around supervision. So I know that we have a lot of people here on Patreon who are advanced practice registered nurses or physician's assistants and require, and at some level, some supervision, even if it's just for a brief time. So the case study in North Carolina, and this is from a disciplinary board, so it did result in discipline. The case study is a physician assistant who for 10 years worked for a large primary care practice. They leave the primary care practice to open up a solo clinic, which is allowed in North Carolina. The physician's assistant asks a supervising physician that they met at a professional meeting to be the supervising physician, and they began their practice. The physician's assistant began her I actually don't even know if it's a her, began their practice. So, which then included offering cosmetic services. So the medical board received a complaint. The physician assistant was practicing without a supervising physician. So the physician's assistant contacts the medical board and says, nope, I've got it. Here's my agreement. Here's my supervising physician. Everything is okay. And the medical board ultimately finds that that essentially the supervising physician was just rubber stamping the physician's assistant's charts, that they did not follow the proper meeting requirements that North Carolina has, and that the supervising physician did not have experience in the world of cosmetic injectables, according to the medical board. Therefore, the supervising physician could not delegate that to a physician's assistant. So let's get into that a little bit more. So in North Carolina, there's a requirement that physician's assistants meet with their supervising physician within the first 6 months, a certain monthly requirement within the first 6 months. And that this physician assistant did not do that because they said, I have, 10 years of experience and I know how to do everything that I'm doing. I don't need to have supervision in that way and to meet every 6 months. And the medical board said, well, why do you feel that way about yourself? But that's not what the rule is. So ding number one. And then I don't know exactly North Carolina's meeting requirements, but I do believe it was something like they have to meet a couple of times a year after that 6 months. And they did not, according to the article, they only met once during the entire 13-month relationship. So, and when she said, they asked the supervising physician, when have you all met together? And the supervising physician said no. And like I said, the physician's assistant said, I don't need to, I know what I'm doing. So when they contacted the supervising physician, they also figured out the supervising physician had no knowledge of the actual practice that the physician's assistant was doing. They did not know about how to inject cosmetic injectables. So according to the medical board, a supervising physician cannot supervise and oversee and sign off on a practice that they know nothing about. And I think this point gets lost sometimes in the world of medical aesthetics, because a lot of people downplay the world of medical aesthetics as not the true practice of medicine. And while I say this to everyone who comes, who will listen for 1 second, we can have the nice chairs, we can have the fancy music and the essential oils, but it is still the practice of medicine. And the law does not differentiate truly between surgery in an OR as a practice of medicine and medical aesthetics. So it might feel different, but it's not different in the eyes of the law. So while we might think that is crazy that you have to have experience in the world of Botox and experience in the world of cosmetic injections to be a supervising physician. We would never allow someone who has a specialty in, dermatology to be the supervising physician for someone who is doing in a completely different practice. You have to supervise within your lane or become knowledgeable about the lane that you are in before you can delegate that to someone else. We have a couple of videos back I talk about, and I use this example with straws of what the physician can delegate, and the physician cannot delegate something that he or she does not have. And knowledge about a specific practice, if he or she does not have that, can't delegate it to a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner. So, or other advanced practice, right, registered nurse. So those are the few key things that the Board of Nursing deemed both the physician's assistant and the supervising physician on. I can't really tell from the article what type of disciplinary actions came from this, but based just on the tone of the overall article, I think they got just probably a hefty slap on the wrist, and the board used it as an opportunity to educate all of the mid-level providers and supervising physicians that this is something that they take seriously. So, pull out the supervising physician contracts, collaborating physician, whatever you want, however you want to call it. Look at your board, board of nursing, board of medicine on their supervising requirements, and make sure that you're not only having the meetings that are required and doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, but that you're documenting it, that you're following it up with a simple CYA email. So great to see you today, physician's assistant. Glad you love the new spa. So great to talk to you today. Glad to know Christmas is coming together for you. Document everything that you do with your supervising and collaborating physician to show that there is true oversight. So if someone comes knocking, you've got the documentation to prove it. The best thing you could do is CYA in those situations for both you and your supervising physician. So look forward to talking to you all soon.